Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday night. I hope everybody is very well this evening. It's nice to see everybody. I think last time I potentially did my live stream, I did something weird with who could chat. So hopefully I fixed it that time. And it's so nice to see everybody here. So we've got Old School Fitness. Hey, come on in. Blue Skies is in the house. We've got Broken Brain. Says narcissists are huge baby brats when they have a baby ailment. Have fun with that, Tea Bucket. Yes, and and this is kind of what we're going to delve into. A couple of things this evening. And I always say I do not treat or diagnose. My name's Ray. I am currently a registered nurse here in the United States, but I am trained to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. And yes, I am taking legal action against Sarasota Tim. So as always, these are always fundraisers for the slush fund. I'm not going to give away my home address or anything. And if you are part of the members, I am editing a video. Probably get a chance to do it tomorrow from my sort of vlog of me today. And talk a little bit more about the start of the legal process, a little bit about, well, I'll tell a little bit. Obviously, retaining the attorneys, engagement letter, and so forth. But I might tell a little bit more information in the members only video, just to say thank you to those who are members. All right, we got Gail in the house. We have Textman 2. We got Miss Hazel. Got Tar Heels Forever. Hey, come on in, Stacy. Come on in. We got John is here. Sammy's here. Passive 101's here. Oh, Catherine. Hey, Catherine. Hey, girl. Come on in. Our friend from New Zealand. Passive 101 just got home from the prison job. You made a carnivore dinner of pork and a nice low-carb alcoholic drink. Well, always, like I said, make sure you do get those vegetables in there. You need that roughage too. So, but enjoy your meal. Passive 101, enjoy your meal. Jagger's in the house. Oh, you have nice hair, they say. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I brushed it just before I went live, so I think that helped. It's true. But thank you. That's really sweet. Lori's here. Hey. And Sandy's here. Hey. So as I always say, I do not treat or diagnose, but there's a couple of things we're going to take a look at this evening. One is in the perspective of, I'm sort of starting to wonder about some of Tim's medical diagnoses. He did sort of say that Johnny Vegas has had like open heart surgery. And when I saw Johnny Vegas, he just didn't seem like a man who had just had open heart surgery. So I don't think he had. I think Tim has a lot of lies. And I do think he does have something happening with his eye because we can physically see that. And maybe he's been to the dermatologist and maybe he has, but it's just weird that a person who films like literally everything, we don't even see him like in front of the imaging center, like, unless he just really doesn't want to give away his locations, but people already know. And he talks about the Walmart all the time and this other location and the McDonald's. So it isn't as if people don't know where he's at. So I'm just starting to wonder, hey, Cody, come on in. And a narcissist loves an attention and his channel is tanking. And so I do wonder how much of this is true or how much is exaggerated. Now, I will give him credit that a lot of information as far as visits to the doctors and results are on our phones. And he uses his to film everything. So he may not be able to, show receipts. But it's just strange that I don't really see him in front of like the imaging center. So I just did he just have like the worst calcium artery score possible coronary artery calcium score. Let me get that correct. And it was really high. And yet he just tripped off to the villages without a thought in the world about anything. And I would just think, if you had a 1576 calcium score, I mean, you're literally like 2 steps away from a bypass at that rate. I mean, and he's just talking about getting rotor-rooted and so forth. So I just really do question about stuff. Sandy says, you're right. I think a lot of lies are being told. Well, narcissists love to get some attention from ailments. And I'm not saying that these things are happening or that Tim doesn't sound short of breath, but I don't know. We haven't really seen, I mean, we see the eye drops, okay? But I don't think we saw the codeine. I just don't think we've seen a bottle of statin pills yet. I've not seen an atorvastatin. I mean, he knows the size, but he could look that up. Something's not sitting right. Something's not sitting right. Passive 101 says, for a while he said he was going to record in 4K. He never did 4K. Only 10. Yeah, for a few of them. Oh, yeah, he knows the details, how bad his details are. Well, so he said his mileage seems to be off too. And he's selling his shoes online. This is the other thing that everyone is obviously aware of, is that Tim is selling his shoes online. Now Tim's completely moved over to a Mediterranean diet. So it's just wild. I'm waiting for a major issue that pops up for ST when Sunday rolls around, when it is time to leave JJ's home. I just find that interesting too. So we are going to go through, and not to hit Miss Vicky's video like that, but she had a lot of questions about some of Tim's behavior. So after we just look at part of this morning chat, because we're not going to look at all of it, we're just going to look at the part where he starts talking about his dietary changes. Because then he just goes off and starts doing what narcissists tend to do, which is compare themselves to other influential people. And he tends to want to, attain himself to people in higher positions of power than he is. So it's interesting. But there is some things that I did find around narcissists and kind of their thoughts around death, and how in some ways they enjoy having this kind of attention to them. They do have, I'll just share this tab over here real fast, because I always think it's kind of interesting. I'll make me small real quick. Oh, that works. Let me hide this comment. And I forget to say, if you do like this stream, make sure you hit the likes to help me get up through the algorithm. As always, these are for my legal defense now slush fund. I will be sending the retainer on Monday or Tuesday. One of those 2 days. I'm just waiting for some funds to clear. But yeah, so it's all speed ahead. With me getting counsel. Like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit more with that in my members only video. So look out for that, members. So just let you know. Catherine says, I don't think I need to share Tim's verrucas. Oh, you don't want his used shoes? He wants $165 for his hokas. You know what? The thing is, Tim missed an opportunity, because he should have said he'll sign them. I don't understand why he didn't say they were signed by a famous YouTuber. He could be selling them like Michael Jordan, with a signature on the side. Textman 2 says Tim is the perfect example of the me generational attitude. He's the example of probably, I do not treat or diagnose, but I do believe that he does show a lot of traits of a grandiose narcissist. So we're not going to look at everything on this, but spotting a narcissist using death for attention. And if Tim is having like a 1576 coronary artery calcium score, and the way that he described, like, needing to get rotor-rooted, if it's that badly blocked, they don't roto-rooter like that. I mean, they do in examples. The only time this happens, and it wouldn't happen for you, Tim, because you're young, are for very medically fragile patients who are needing to get that procedure done. I mean, it does happen, but they rather, if it depends on how bad the blockage is, but they probably stint rather than rooter. I don't hear them. It's so bad. I mean, if it was that bad, Tim's on for a bypass surgery. And I don't think Tim would like to be down for the months of time is required to be down for a bypass. And he may never get to swing a golf club again. So there was a lot of patients I knew who with heart conditions were banned from playing golf and getting out there and swinging clubs. And yet Tim, for some reason, has this terrible high calcium coronary artery score. And yet he out there rolling around, eating Chinese food. He is playing golf, supposedly. I mean, it's nothing of behaviors that I would think are consistent with somebody who is, on the brink. So a lot of times somebody who is potentially narcissistic would use these things for manipulation and obviously self-importance. This is an article just from sort of our mental health, it's not a .org or anything, but I thought it was an interesting article. It does use a lot of, the sort of basis of what you would find within the DSM-5. And it talks about their unique way of approaching death and often using it as a tool to garner attention and maintain their sense of importance. And Tim's channel is tanking and sinking like the Titanic, for a really terrible analogy, because it's just so tacked, so unoriginal. But I would think that Tim kind of definitely has a need to try to bring attention to his channel. I mean, he's halfway through the month. His views for his channel, if you look, I always say from the year before to now, are like they are 10% of what they used to be per video. So that's a huge, and he was still cranking out a ton of videos. And his buy me a coffees. This is what I was also going to mention. Tim did an entire video on somebody only donating him a $15 buy me a coffee, I believe it was. And that is unusual because prior, Tim was getting almost $1,000 a month this time last year in buy me a coffees. Certainly wasn't making like huge amounts of videos talking about paying it forward. And I mean, physically showing the paying it forward. And thanking somebody for as low of a buy me a coffee donation as $15. I mean, this is a man who was getting $100 coffee donations for golf shirts. So this is unusual. Like I said, if you do want to support me and my channel, ways to help support me is just, subscribe to the channel, chatting like this, leaving likes and comments and, watching all my stuff through. Because as I said, all the money that I make from this YouTube channel enables me to continue on my legal battle. And I know that some people are like, oh, YouTube is just for fun and you take this too seriously. Tim has been a bully who literally is the one who costs people their channels. And so I think that this is somebody who his problematic narcissistic bullying is not somebody who's just having fun on the platform. We are probably having more fun than Tim is. I use it as a teaching tool. This is just for education purposes, as I say. So anyway, whatever. I ignore you. Okay, so the trolls are in. The trolls are in, and Angel is not here to moderate. So if anybody actually is interested in becoming a moderator, I am looking for additional moderators. And so let me know if you're all interested in that role. You don't have to come in for every stream. but it would be helpful because we get trolls sometimes. And if you'd like to join my community like everybody else, you can join it right there. Right. Louise Lang asks, why is he selling his hokas? You can buy them brand new for less at Nordstrom. Well, one, he's, obviously, anything that comes from Tim is the best. And that's something we're going to talk about because it's very distinguishing. Pardon me. It's allergy season. I apologize, everybody. And I hate taking Claritin. So 2 sneezes are allergies. Oh, my goodness. I apologize. I was out walking Junebug in the woods. I got my allergies going. PB2 says Hoka's a 70 on Ross. Well, Catherine, thank you, Catherine. You can mod me for the times I can join on New Zealand. Well, that's great, Catherine. I'll make you a mod. That's great. I'm gonna probably. I can't remember how to do it, but I think I just go over to Nightbot. But I will make you one. It's probably inside of YouTube. Let me try to get over to there. So let me make sure I don't make too much noise over here. So yes. They are less expensive there. And he just wrote on his, they are $165. And it's like, okay, Tim, it's $165. That's nice. I'm glad it's $165. It was odd that he would say that like that. Do you know what I mean? Okay. There you go, Catherine. You just became a moderator. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So, yeah, I don't know why he would end up doing that. And it was funny how he wrote, I am assuming that he did not return them in time. And the 3 months went past on his receipt, or he lost the receipt. One of the two. Because I don't remember when he bought the black Hokas. But I'm sure they were sent to him by, some elderly person through Buy Me a Coffee, like, buy yourself a, nice pair of shoes, young man. And Tim, bought them. And he, as always, he just returns stuff. He is like the king of the return. He thinks he does not really, everything is free to Tim, because if you are going and using something for the 60-day period or the 90-day period, and you leave the tags on absolutely everything, and then you return it for the money back, then yeah, everything's going to seem free. I mean, it's just that kind of sense of entitlement that he should, be able to do that, which just hikes up the cost of everything else for every other consumer who doesn't do stuff like that. I couldn't imagine being that tacky. It's absolutely tacky. And in reality, and then the other thing that was interesting that somebody had mentioned is that if he has that 1576 coronary artery calcium score, God dang it, Tim, you need to be actually using those running shoes, not selling them on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to get started and think, happy I'm fighting back, Kathleen? Me too. It was a satisfying day. I can't show too much stuff because I don't want to, flash my address and the name of my attorney. Hold on. I don't mind the firm so much. Anyway, they'll be in the members only. So if you want to see a little bit more about that, it's going to be in the members only. I've already started to film the video. It was Junebug and I. We were out running some errands today. And part of it was printing out the letter and signing it because I couldn't get the PDF thing. Anyway, signed it. And then I had to make a PDF copy. And now it's been sent to the attorney. And then I send them the money next week. But as I said, all of this is for anything I do is for my slush fund of continuing, because there's various things. So that's what's going to be happening. So yeah, he needs money for Dr. Copays. Yeah. Keep fighting back. I am. Yep. Yep. Bless you, says Louise Leg. Yep. I don't mind. We don't know if he got a CT scan. That's what we're thinking. Potentially he's doing it to go on attention. He does think he's going to die at 73, maintain their sense of self-importance. I also think he does it for the drama of the channel. He's got to bring something to it. It can't be just countless. Somebody mentioned the other day how boring his channel was. It's just weird for Tim, the filmer of everything, not to have the outside of the imaging center. Not saying he would do it inside, but just we see nothing. And when it gets my medical spidey senses going sometimes. Somebody even mentioned that one time he looked like he was sitting in a residential neighborhood and not really sitting, but sometimes his doctor's offices can be in some weird places though. Okay. When faced with mortality, whether their own or that of others, individuals with narcissistic tendencies may engage in attention-seeking behaviors to reaffirm their perceived superiority. And I think that Tim has his own perceived superiority, which enables him to also feel though he can strike people's channel, though nothing that he has is copyrighted officially. So he's saying that he has copyrighted material because he's put it on YouTube, but that does not make for copyright, legally speaking, in the United States. And I'm not going to give away the advice that my attorney gave that Tim should be taking, but certain things that I am learning because I have now counsel around copyright and other matters pertaining to it. So thank you to the community for helping me be able to actually learn more about this and be able to actually take Tim to task because he has affected. I mean, like I said the other day, it's not just been me. It's been Darling that they have struck at, and they actually had their channel taken down and had to have their channel appeal for its return. And it was Olive Oil who helped Darling actually get their channel restored. And we thought that Darling was going to lose their channel. I understand that they potentially harassed blind viewers. I know that they left Olive Oil, one of his Hilton Tom or whatever that character's name was, left some rather threatening voicemails. People are actually scared. I know True Ginger, bless her heart, is, people have expressed concern for me because of Tim, having so many weapons and obviously Junebug being here. But I think that I'm okay. And I'm not somebody who, and I take these matters seriously in the respect that YouTube is supposed to be some fun. And, I hope I use it as an educational platform. But Tim is abusing systems that are there to really protect people with genuine copyrighted material. And he's abusing it. And he has used it to intimidate and bully people. And I don't like bullies. I don't like people who try to exploit systems like that. So I'm looking forward. No, she didn't give up Broken Brain. She's not allowed to have a channel because Tim struck her channel 3 times and they removed it. And once that happens, you cannot have a channel ever. YouTube literally bars you from ever having a channel. And it also hurts you in the algorithm, which is one of the reasons why if you help me, like and subscribe and do all the things, as much as I'm like doing some, and I, freaking love to do some of this stuff. And I'm going to do it.
Confidence trickster now.
Oh, we know he's one of those, but
no. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have this dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is.
Yeah, I dry beg because I'm actually going to be trying to take Tim down. So, like I said, all these live streams and all you guys just participating and stuff, and then people watching it on the replays, leaving a comment, all helps me on this channel. So, like I said, I've been in a black hole ever since Tim struck my channel. But Olive Oil has not given up. Okay, She is certainly not giving up the fight in respect of that. I mean, her life has gone on, but it was Tim and his behaviors that caused her channel to be taken down. And so that's part of the reason I'm also, because Tim has been that bully. And he struck Buckeye Gordon. He struck me multiple times. He struck Zach Michael. This is not so, and with just abuse of the system, because Tim is very vindictive, Textman too. He's extremely vindictive. It's because he's narcissist, can't be questioned. And so it's part of his behaviors in that response, you know? So, you know, obviously, and I always talk about this, and this is what I always read from the sort of DSM-5. It's a personality trait. It's a personality disorder. It's an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for attention and admiration. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies often display a lack of empathy and engage in manipulative behaviors to maintain their self-image. I mean, how can it not be more manipulative that Tim is out there with his RV acting as if that's where he lives, and everyone knows he lives with Miss Tammy in the apartment? So it's very manipulative. He's highly manipulative. It's just, he's like, I hate to say he's kind of textbook, but he kind of, you know, and it's, I think if he was just the character with those personality traits and wasn't so vindictive to other creators who obviously could make reactions around the fact that you're getting the golf shirts and you're returning stuff and you got tags on everything and you're making decent money on YouTube, yet you're still wanting people to send you money. I mean, like, and like I said, lawyers are not inexpensive, which is why I guess I'm dry begging for money. But I'm gonna try to take it to good. Anyway, obviously, we understand. And there's a lot of people that have personality disorders. A lot of it comes from childhood trauma and so forth. That's a whole different story. But it's a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, a lack of empathy, which we know with Shingate, with Miss Tammy. Absolute lack of empathy. How could he be less empathetic? And so we've seen it. Especially the woman that lives with him. Okay, and we just talk about, you know, always uniqueness, superiority, excessive admiration, sense of entitlement, you know, 1%, some studies say up to 6%, you know. So obviously, and again, this arrogant, envious, you know, we kind of see that with him sitting there with JJ's stuff, you know. Obviously, he's fairly on the grandiose side, overt confidence and charisma. I mean, he's very confident with his social security stuff, seeks admiration. Okay. A lot of that sort of stuff. And a lot of this actually can help answer the questions that Miss Vicky had. And we're actually going to go over Miss Vicky's video after we take a little look at Tim's and kind of hopefully answer some of those questions that she had as to why Tim would be so reluctant to want to collaborate with other content creators. As we know, I love having guests on. So if anybody has expertise in any subjects that I speak about and would love to be a guest, and you can always be behind an avatar, you don't have to have your face on screen, then that's one of the things I love the most, is having another expert on and being able to ask them questions. You know, I would love to get Dr. Ed Weir on here talking about Tim's bad social security advice. But I don't think I would be that lucky. But I mean, it's just something that I would enjoy doing. Jack says digital handling, aka internet begging or cyber begging, is the online equivalent of traditional panhandling, where individuals ask strangers for money, often with relative anonymity. Yes, well, Tim doesn't try to be too anonymous. He definitely has the YouTube Sarasota Tim. But yeah, he just had the video. I don't know if it's this one. It might be this one. I think it may be this one. where he goes over the clothes he's returning to Walmart that still have the tags. Still have the tags. He'll be telling Miss Hammy he needs a sweet thing for the channel. Yes, he will, especially if she's over visiting the grandkids and he's not getting attention. There are rumors that maybe Miss Tammy's out of town, and that's why he went to JJ's. That's why. Yep, he is grifting at JJ's. And Dr. Classy Badass, he says, raise his hand. I can talk about medicine all day long. Well, you know, I have my email address. So on my About page, send me an email, please. And I would love to have you on, definitely, to talk about Tim's 1576 calcium score that he is currently ignoring and going off to play golf. Just seems odd. Seems odd. So let's see how Tim's doing with his lifestyle changes. Because we know that Tim now is health is wealth. He is absolutely winning on this stuff. And he's getting ready to go to the villages. He's going to go play golf. I guess he's got to fit it in, you know, before his procedure. You know, if he goes out west, then I know he's bullshitting. Pardon my French, a Saturday night. That's a medical term. But I just, honestly, because that's like critical levels. Like literally Tim's is at critical, you know, we've got to get you in now. You wouldn't be asking your doctor, which Tim said in the last video, can he go out west and on vacation? So you would be a lot more concerned that you are at a high risk of a coronary event. But Tim doesn't seem to be living life that way. He out eating Chinese and drinking coffee. Okay, and if Dr. Classy Badassy can answer this one, that the last thing that you should be drinking is full caffeinated cowboy coffee when you got a 1576 coronary artery calcium score, because that is just asking for trouble. Should definitely be on the decaf if you need to taste the coffee. But I can promise you 2 things that were banned on any heart hospital floor. One was caffeinated coffee. Second, all the packets of salt. We didn't allow that either. And Tim seems to be enjoying both.
Gotta make some coffee. Coffee. We're gonna have oatmeal. We're gonna have on this Mediterranean diet.
Well, that's honest, Tiffany.
I've never even opened it, I don't think. Brand new. How do you make it? Oh, let me get some water going.
Well, I guess I would pose the question, Tiffany, since I'm somebody who actually studied to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and I talk about people being narcissists, exactly how do I hate somebody like Tim when I'm actually pointing out his manipulative behaviors? And because Tim is such a narcissist and feeling the need to strike people's channel, I'm going to try to meet him at his narcissistic game, which is actually bring an expert in and meet him with an attorney, which is what a lot of people on YouTube say to do in response to counter notifications if you don't want your own home addresses used or your own information, or you want to let this individual know that they have actually stepped into a legal process. And it's not as simple as that any longer. That you don't just get to keep doing it and then disappear. No, now you've done it, and now you have to answer to my attorney. Pretty much now. Because it's going to be more than just the counter notification. I can let you know that much.
I got it. Let's get a coffee cup. Gotta be an easier way to measure water. I need a measuring cup. I think I have one. Let me see. Measuring cup. Come out wherever you're at. Ha. You need an X-ray vision, which I don't have. And why would it be in here? Number 2. A lot of things in here need to go away. Well, look at this. Right in front of my eyes, a measuring cup. So,
hey,
let me see if I pour this measuring cup to the rim. All right, a full measuring cup. How much coffee do I get in my coffee cup? Looks like a half a cup. Seriously, look at that. So this amount.
So you have a 1576 coronary calcium score, and you're out here drinking the cowboy coffee. And you said you went to see like your doctor, and they didn't tell you to keep away from a stimulant like caffeine that could overstimulate your heart rate, and that elevation in your heart rate could potentially lead to an overexertion of your heart muscle. And if your heart muscle is already compromised from such a wildly high coronary like critical mass, how is that possible? So I am finding it very hard to fully believe Tim. And that's my nurse spidey senses going out. It's beyond, top of the, pathologies and the need for attention and his dying channel. There's a lot going on.
Of water right here. They're saying, where's the sea rights? Oh boy. Come on, pair of glasses anywhere. I got them hanging in every corner. This says 1 cup of water. So 1 cup. I'm pouring water in like this. Let me see. If I put in this whole thing into this cup, and then I pour 1 more into that cup, that is 2 cups. And 2 cups is all the way to the top of that. So now we have 3 cups. But we know if we want coffee in this, we're only going to get 1.5 because that's all this does. Following the
yes, oatmeal is something like porridge. But sometimes like it looks like, does Tim have the quick oats? I would always recommend getting the whole oats. The quick oats, they take all the good stuff out. Buy a bag real cheap of quick oats. Tim. He acted like he's measuring over here his oatmeal. Look at Tim go, man. This is a far cry from the bacon and sizzling and the sausage and the eggs.
The math. We also have to allow for
can't do the coffee
into the filter and into the grounds. So this should give us 2 coffee cups of coffee. That's all man needs for right now. We're going to get on the road this morning. Yep, we're out of here, buddy.
Well, I can let you know if he has that calcium score, probably snores like a freight train. Especially with that abdominal area that I see currently. That thing's going to push up on your lungs. Oh, I'm sure he does. I bet you Tim snores. That's one of the first questions we used to always ask people in cardiac. It's like, what do you snore? Because that's a pretty good indicator you may have some issues going on. So it's with sleep and so forth. It's just one of those things that help us identify risk factors. Tim has not been looking. I can't say that Tim looks healthy. He looks like somebody who has been forgoing strict dietary ethics and exercise.
We are going to the villages. Yeah. Hang on, I got to blow my nose.
That's a good point, Passive 101.
Yep. Hang on. Believe me, I want that.
Right.
I want that coffee brewing.
Right.
More than you do.
I was about to say, I get whole oats of the big old packet. The Trader Joe's actually gives a really nice big bag for like next to nothing. I think that's one of the best deals I've seen. That and Kroger. I'm sure Costco, but I'm just one person, so I can't get the really big bags.
Yeah, I got an invite yesterday. I'm solo here in Sarasota for a little while.
Oh.
So I think I'll go up to JJ's and shoot guns.
So where's Miss Tammy gone to? Do we know if Miss Tammy's going to see her family for the holidays? We all coming up to happy early St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. There's obviously, you know, some spring breaks coming up. Easter's around the corner. A lot going on, holiday-wise. So has Miss Tammy gone out to see the family, the fam? And Tim is not somebody who likes to be left alone. You know, he's definitely the sort of person that, you know, needs that additional sort of attention. Could be a little bit of potential codependency that Tim has. Cannot be left alone. He's got to be getting something from somebody, you know. And JJ and Bev, you know, they'll give him stuff. He's got to get stuff from people.
Play golf and go to the square, do a little dancing, listen to some music, and make some videos for you guys. Ride on the golf cart. Oh man, it's we got the Trump 47 golf cart up there. His Yamaha. He lets me drive it sometimes too.
Dr. Classy Badass, he says, I agree, Ray. Tim looks unhealthy. I notice his red complexion. Yes, very red in the face. And suspect he is drinking. Yeah, he has definitely started to this is not the t-shirt to hide this. This is not, I know he's out doing his politics. But it unfortunately, it accentuates some of his abdominal area that doesn't look very healthy. And this could be probably a combination of food and alcohol. And we know Tammy enjoys a drink. And we saw Tim outside that bar in Key West. So we know he's a pathological, compulsive liar. He just, you know, he has this like, and narcissists, I don't know. They just, sometimes these folks, they just have to lie. It's just they just live on the lie. He's also gained weight, yes, and eats the top foods that can destroy cardiac health. Yeah, he's not very conscientious. He lacks a lot of insight and judgment in regards to health. I mean, it's not that all of us are perfect. Don't get me wrong. We all like a treat, okay? But Tim is, you know, I think a little late on the party on some of, and that's the part that I think I'm glad he's making. If this is serious, lifestyle changes, but he's still without calcium coronary artery score. He's still going to need to get an absolute, you know, he's going to get something major done if it's really the case. Because, like I said, Tim has a dying channel. And he needs to get people to it. And he just has been popping out a lot of medical stuff. So and if he goes off traveling, I will call it into question. Yeah, he is a narcissist sharing the journey. Come on in. Nice to see you. Make sure everyone hits the likes. Helps get me up the algorithm. Helps also get people to find me. I want to make sure I get lots of people. Cougar Sands says, Brother Tim looks holy. Of the good faith in Lord. Oh yes. Oh, Cougar Sand. I love it when they come in. Catherine, keep an eye on Cougar Sand. They get rather feisty on their religious speak. Vegas Trip says, I bet his triglycerides are real high with all that drinking. Well, that's interesting you mentioned that because I do not believe he gave his triglycerides. I do not believe he gave his LDL or HDL. I believe the only number that he ever mentioned when he spoke about his cholesterol was his total cholesterol score, which I find interesting because it's always broken down into 4 numbers. It's always going to have your overall like total cholesterol, at least here in the US. Total cholesterol, it's going to include your triglycerides. It will include your high-density lipoproteins, and it will include your low-density lipoproteins. And the only number that Tim ever gave was the 247 or whatever he said was his cholesterol. It was around about there. That was the only number, which is interesting that Tim, who is the elaborate storyteller, would not have included more information. But then maybe he doesn't have enough understanding of how to combine all 4 of those numbers together to have created the full picture of a lie. I do call into question some of this from Tim. I do. Yeah, 4 numbers. Absolutely. He isn't telling us everything, and who knows if the numbers he gave us are accurate, or even if he got any testing done or whatever. That's what I'm saying. It's just weird. Tim loves to tell everything, supposedly. But why wouldn't you want to sad fish off of, all 4 numbers? I'm sure your LDL would be out the shitty quality anyway. Sure, your LDL was outrageous if it was true. If it had been really true on that 247. Oats and grains, as well as nuts, can be stored in the freezer and keep them fresh. That's a good tip, I think, especially at this time when we're all looking for ways to save our monies. And they are. I mean, and like you can do oats overnight too. That's a really good one as well. If you want to have something, quick to go in the morning. I've been enjoying a matcha tea chia seed pudding with a raspberry thing on top for breakfast and dessert. All right, Tim.
You're going to have a good time.
You're going to have a good time. I know. That's the same
And,
with the 1576 calcium.
I'll get some steps in up there and walk. All right, so we got 2 cups. Put in 1, 2. And how about a little strength this morning? A little something to grow on.
Oh, great.
So I just put in 2 tablespoons of coffee, 1 for each cup of water. That should be pretty strong.
Oh, well, that sounds great. Because I would suggest having fully caffeinated Maxwell House coffee and making it really strong when you've just been told that you're at close risk of a coronary event. That just sounds like a marvelous plan. I would certainly recommend at least 3 or 4 cups of that. That just seems like a really good plan. Yeah, well, I think he has to do it, unfortunately, cowboy style because, Tim's on the Mediterranean diet. So, no, maybe he ran out of heavy cream. I think that just seems like wise choices there. Wise choices for a man who's, 2 steps away from a angina attack.
Let's turn it on. Let's plug it in. Let's get ready. Let's get real. Johnny Vegas says. Now, who can see
Johnny Vegas, who supposedly had bypass? Does anybody actually believe Johnny Vegas had bypass? I believe Johnny Vegas had bypass as much as I believe that he and the wife were married for 20 years because we saw the marriage license.
How do you make this oatmeal? I need to have something in me, I gotta
look at this.
It says on the stovetop, preparing a great oatmeal. A half a cup of water or milk. I don't have any milk. And 1 cup of oatmeal. A half a cup of oatmeal, 1 cup of water or milk, and a dash of salt for 1 person. All right.
I think the transplant. That's right.
This has never been open.
That's right. He was getting a heart transplant. Yeah, he looked like a guy who was on the list for a heart transplant when I last saw Johnny Vegas, because usually if you were on the waiting list for a heart transplant, you would be probably hooked up to an LVAD, a left ventricular device, in order to keep your heart going. That man was not rolling around like that. That's what I say. Tim is full of just absolute nonsense. Thank you for reminding me of that, Paul. You'd be on an LVAD. I've worked with people I've worked with heart transplant patients because I worked at the heart hospital for 2 years in Virginia. And then I worked in Charlotte, North Carolina at the CMC Main, which used to be CMC, is now Atrium Health, I believe. The main hospital in Charlotte, which is a huge, like massive hospital out there. Like it was a 36-bed unit. And vascular, thoracic, cardiac, step down. I'm talking like some sick ass people. I've seen these patients. Tim looks like he don't look great, but Johnny Vegas not getting a heart transplant. Bullshit. I'm sorry. Might have had a bypass. He did not have a bypass passive 101. There was no way between August and when we saw him, whenever it was recently, that man had had any type of bypass surgery. You don't look that recovered that quick. I've worked with these patients in rehab. They're walking around with life vests on for weeks afterwards. I mean, months. There's no way. Absolutely, I do not believe it at all. I think it's just absolute nonsense that Tim made up to get people on his channel, and it just not even true. You would not even been allowed to be anywhere near. Didn't he go play golf with him? You wouldn't even be near a golf course. Blow your damn graft out. Bullshit.
Get in here. There you go. Hang on a minute.
Julio, that's right. Julio. She said Julio.
I'm a geezer.
Well,
what do you think about Donald Trump?
Right.
What do you think I think about him? I love the man. The man is getting things done. What do you think about these nut jobs out there? I mean, seriously. Those are George Soros's antagonists.
Oh, for goodness sake, Tim. We cannot. I just don't do the politics. All right. Come on. What are we going to do? Okay. Keep going along. I'm going to have to speed them up, guys. I just don't need to get into the politics tonight. I don't think we're all tired of that, Tim. It's bad enough you got the t-shirt on, just screaming politics. We're all so tired.
There you go. Now, how long does a man cook it? I don't believe what I had to put in it. I got blueberries. I got all kind of berries I bought. I'm a health freak. I'm a health freak. Heart conscious. All that stuff. So then what do you do? What about stovetop? No. Microwave. Yeah, it's the direction's going underneath the bottom. Oh, look, it goes all the way. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
2.5 to 3 minutes.
JJ's idea.
Directions go all the way underneath.
JJ's a marketing genius. And so JJ is trying to help this old narcissist revive his channel. And I don't think JJ is, I mean, JJ's been called out by those people in that Maltese group. Go watch one of the videos I did about JJ's involvement in his Maltese website thing and how people talked about JJ's God complex. So I'm not surprised that these two narcissists have found themselves together because they're all creators, because JJ has a channel. He actually has 22,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. And so but his videos obviously get no views. So I'm still trying to figure out, how do you get 22,000 subs? You've got barely any videos unless he had content from a long time ago that he's since privated about the Maltesers or something. I have no idea. Because if you see that he's got like 10 views, how do you have 10 views or 400 views and 22,000 subscribers? Makes 0 sense.
Bottom. 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Just wild.
Who doesn't have 3 minutes? Starting.
Oh.
Come on, coffee. Oh, yeah. We're down to cowboy coffee. I understand I can drink a little cream, and I'm going to finish the cream I have. Every time I start these diets, I end up, throwing away everything in my refrigerator that, I get on this deal, and I don't want to eat it, so I throw it away. Now, I'll tell you what I want. I want some eye drops.
Oh, God.
In each eye.
Oh, no.
Famotidine.
How are you? Okay. Can I just... Tim, you're like in the middle of like cooking your food and you're putting your eye drops in. Just, can you not take the eye drops a little more seriously? And one, please wash your hands before putting shit in your eyes. Pardon my French. It's just, he's so irritating sometimes for me. It's just so basic, And then why do it while you're cooking? Is there not a way that you could potentially, sort of separate? It just doesn't seem a plan. Now you're in the midst of cooking. Just do one thing at a time when it comes to this. Just take them, sit in the chair and let them do their business for a minute. Why can you not just... Oh, gosh. Okay. Sorry.
This is pressure drops. And then twice a day. I need
Sorry. Sorry.
another color drop in here. Lumigan and my prednisone, my steroid. This one in my left eye, the bad eye, and the other eye. Okay, that's almost brewed up. Put the oatmeal away. I gotta take my hermetic fridge and take it with me. I want to take all these salads and stuff, so I have my food. Beth will feed me.
I understand Zachary Michael said they had familial hypercholesteremia. It's a lot of words.
She'll feed me, she'll feed me some fried pork chops, some fried steaks. If they got their Social Security check, they're on a limited income. So if she don't have the money this week, one thing they got, plenty of money.
Oh, God.
Plenty of steaks. No more steaks for Tim. He's steakless. Say no to red meat.
Every time he coughs like that, I think he's telling a lie. I have decided the cough is his tick for lying. So I cough so dang much. It's his lying tick. Because that cough is, last time he was coughing like that all the time, he was rushing, saying he got it. He would not be playing golf, baby golf, and drinking that much stimulating caffeine with a 1576 calcium score. Your doctor would be saying, none of that is wise. You need to sit down and take it easy. And you are needing to get in a sapperoo to get your, I don't even think he would have, they wouldn't even worry about a stress test because you can pass a stress test probably potentially because Tim's supposedly walking around easily with that score. Never sort of talked about angina or chest pain, which you would think would potentially accompany that many blocked arteries. So it doesn't really make diagnostic sense, So I said, Tim is somebody who likes attention. This is a great way to get attention and just kind of move past it, I mean, we've never got the pleasure of seeing the stitches on the chest.
Old pocket carry. Taking all of them. We're going to go out and I think it's an outdoor range he's talking about. We want to go blast up.
The people who are the members of my channel and get to see the members only videos will find out more about that. But that was a good question.
Well, make sure I take these with me. That's it. A lot of you in the comments have been promoting and telling me that you take this as well and that you get good results regarding the stick and the statin. I've gotten the, hang on, got to blow my nose again. Well, that whole bill's done.
Because Tim is unique and special. That's why. That's for all the questions. You could just add Tim is unique and special.
I didn't buy my yogurt yet, but I got some blueberries. Oh man, I can't wait to get that coffee in me.
Well,
with the cream.
Beth, I would say at all ages, we should be watching better what we eat. Most of this damage that has happened to Tim's arteries happened when he was young. And so a lot of that damage, when you think suddenly you hear these results, oh, well, let me change my diet. It's not going to do very much to that calcium score. That calcium score is there. What it will do is stop it from getting any worse. But it's at this time, it will not reduce the score that he has. It would lower the oatmeal would lower cholesterol, which would lower the potentiating risk of creating more atherosclerotic plaques and therefore increasing his coronary artery calcium score. But as far as him potentially believing if any of this were true, because I always have my doubts of him, it would not start to reverse the disease. The only diet that they have found, I guess, is what's known as the Ornish diet, which is a very strict vegan plant-based diet, which doesn't even allow you to eat oils. It's extremely strict, and it is one that is used for people with severe coronary disease. It's one of the few medically accepted diets for that purpose, and it's very restrictive. It's you really have to be like part of the program and having people show you and teach you how to eat within the Ornish diet. It was named after the physician and cardiologist who created it.
Man, I got to change all this up.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is
Kind
done.
of, but everybody.
Check bowl for heatness. His heatness is
He
hotness.
did.
Yeah, perfect. That's perfect.
I want to say he was taking 20 of atorvastatin. I think that's what I read in his comment section. I want to say it was 20 of atorvastatin. Anybody else knows, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it was a 20 milligram. Like a moderate. Moderate.
Just a little watery. Maybe it'll soak up into those oats. Plenty hot. Giving it a good mix. I went 3 minutes. It said 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Ginger.
This is on the soup side. I could possibly put it back in there. I'm not going to.
That's
I don't
me.
mind. It doesn't look too awfully bad. Just give me the coffee. All right. Where's that cream? I need to take this with me. Give it to them.
Yeah.
Look at all this half and half. Oh my gosh, it's not even open. Take it back to Publix. Here's one open.
Yeah.
I have to find out what no sugar creamer. They got these non-dairy something for your coffee.
No, that's a very good question. Cry 96 Tears asked, did he ever mention if they saw any blocked heart vessels from the CT scan? What percentage of blockage does it take for a procedural intervention? So usually they like the blockage pretty high. I can't remember the exact number because it's been quite a few years since I worked that floor, but I want to say it was like over 97%. It's like to get a stent put in. Now, I do believe they do some type of ballooning where they can kind of open up the artery as well. So they could do some type of balloon, kind of open that artery and give it more blood flow. And they may potentially do that at lower levels if they think you're high risk because other vessels are blocked. But it's a pretty high percentage of blockage, which is kind of scary. It's like maybe 75 to 80. Yes, it's very dependent. And I were saying it was higher than that to put a stent in. I want to say it was like up in the 90%. Because I remember I was always shocked at how high the number had to be to actually qualify to be stented. Now, there are cases where people seem to have like very active angina along with blockages that aren't as high as the amount that they require for stenting. It's usually it's higher than you think. 97% narrowed or more, 70% narrowed. That sounds like low. And I mean, I always remember they were much higher at the hospital I worked at. I don't know. Maybe they got lower at the time. They were high. I was always shocked at how many people were like, oh, no, you're good for a while. And they would just do medication management, instead of putting the stents in, especially with insurance companies. They hate to pay for that shit. Pardon my French. 97% narrow to more. They used to be high. I'm hoping maybe they changed it. I just remember it was very high. He didn't say exactly which vessels. I want to say he kind of passed over that and said something about it wasn't like the the LDA or the big one or whatever, but he was like talking like it was like smaller veins, which you don't worry about the veins. You worry about the arteries. You worry about the ones that supply the blood to, not the blood away. So it didn't make sense. But, you know, it's Tim. I'm wondering if they gave him nitroglycerin RX. Well, that's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Well, no, he never mentioned that. Don't give him any clues. He certainly does not have any nitro. It seemed like he doesn't carry anything for angina. That's what I'm saying. He didn't talk about any medications that he was, you know, he talked about the statin. But he also would be on probably a blood pressure medication. I think, isn't he on a blood pressure medication? Oh, definitely a baby aspirin. Don't think I've ever heard him taking 81 milligrams of baby aspirin, which would be definitely on his medication list for sure. With that calcium score, they would have definitely probably prescribed him for something like that. So, I mean, you know, I just feel like there's gaps in those cardiac meds that he's not getting. Now, I haven't sat down and had to go over somebody's cardiac meds like that. And you would think that also, you know, he definitely sounded short of breath. So I don't think he sounds healthy, but something's wrong. Something's up. Stay up. All right, keep going, Tim. We're not going to watch
this whole cowboy coffee. Hey, look. I even got some nuts I can put in my oatmeal. How about that? Let's do a little of that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sprinkle a little.
Oh, yeah, he went.
Right on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's another line.
Open it up. There we go. All right. There's enough. One fell on the floor. Where is it? I definitely don't want to leave that down there. Okay, we got blueberries next.
Oh, we get the mice in there.
Handful of blueberries.
Are you going to wash them?
Handful more. A lot of them got stems on them.
Is he going to wash them? I would recommend that you wash your fruits and vegetables before you use them, just to get any, you know, dust or whatever off of them.
Sticks. Yeah, it won't hurt you. I've been camping before. These might not be good.
Yeah, let's don't wash them.
I may have to carry those. It's been 5 minutes. I got to go take the rest of these drops. Let's get some coffee.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the oatmeal now is getting thick and rich.
Right.
Look at that. Looking good.
Well, that's what I say too. Brain bell jangler. I think the whole medical scare is another scam. Don't believe him. Score of 1576. Prove it, Timbo. Well, he's not proving it by drinking fully caffeinated coffee. He doesn't seem to take any medications that are part of anything that you would be prescribed with these supposed God. Where's the 81 milligrams of aspirin, Tim? Where are stronger statin medications? You know, God, at this part, they're probably going to put you on some rovastatin. And some Zetia as well. I mean, they're going to go that shit twofold. Okay? Because that's so high. You know? If you've been supposedly on a statin for some time and you have that 240 cholesterol, you're not down like by 70 or 80, they're going to put you on like a combination with Zetia and with a statin. We're going to go in 2 ways potentially, Tim. It's like your blood pressure going to be out, which, you know, you're all red-faced. Your blood pressure would be higher too. And then those cholesterol numbers. You're missing a bunch of numbers, Tim. You sound like you grabbed a 247 from somebody else, but you have no idea, you know, because you're almost too cheap to pay those copays, sir. So I can't even imagine you with, you know, you're talking about you're 70, but then you have, how do you have a $70 copay for the imaging center? I guess they can be different. I guess 45 for your specialist visits. Oh, who the heck knows? So I said it's inconsistent.
There's only water in there. Let's try some coffee. I think I might have some in the pot.
Yes.
This doesn't feel like it's going to be that hot. Must have been coffee in the pot. I could have had some already. 30 seconds at least on that. Try to enjoy some of this oatmeal. Walnut, blueberry, and oatmeal. Feel my heart just a beating, boy. Loving this stuff.
Well, that's what I'm. It is such sad fishing for sympathy. You know, it's just another, way for Tim to try to get some engagement to his channel, I guess, but it's just wild. It's just wild because he's such a terrible liar. That's why I really enjoy watching people try to get attention on this platform and talk about their medical issues, especially their doctor's appointments. Because a lot of times you can tell very easily if you're in the profession, if somebody is telling you about a real medical appointment and somebody making some up. And Tim just sounds like he making it up. I promise you, I've heard so many medical histories being given. Something is just not sitting kosher with me and Tim. Just does not sit kosher. Passive 101 says, Ray, this is the best entertainment. He's a real life Monty Python character. I need another drink. Well, you enjoy a drink. He's a psycho. Yeah, I know it's all for views and stuff, but I think it's something is missing. Something is not sitting with me. Mark says, I'm 68, my blood work comes back great. Well, I'm very happy to hear that. And that takes work. Don't come for free, Mark, and I know that. I know you have to do things in your lifestyle in order to have those numbers. It's not a gift that's given to us as we age. Let's put it that way. Lori says she really detests him. Well, and he makes Johnny feel sick too. Well, I just feel like something isn't right. He's got my senses going, and something not right about this. And it just this whole thing. Anyway, keep going, Tim.
It's really good. Now we got a little bit of heat. Marshmallows. With my half and half. I'm supposed to get rid of this, I guess.
Anybody who supposedly is that verge on critical with their heart, with a 1576 calcium, coronary artery calcium score, let me say it correctly, would not be drinking full-ass caffeinated coffee with creamer in it. That would be the thing that would scare you the most. Because you would be so close to having an event. Why would you risk yourself this way? And going out of town to play golf. Like nothing going on. But I'm going to eat a bowl of oatmeal with blueberries just to show you. And he was so exaggerating my heart. I would put my money on it. It's a scam. Part of getting an attorney is we get to find out how much Tim does scam. People wonder why you get an attorney. Well, they can look into people's backgrounds. And guess whose background they're going to be looking into? Tim's, obviously. Because the attorney I have. So it's so great about getting your own attorney for this stuff. Because they're paid to work for you. They are the experts in this matter. Not me, definitely not Tim. So I am somebody who fully believes that in matters where he has now hit me 7 videos. Don't tell me that's not a malicious intent from this person to my channel, because I make commentary about the fact that he's out here supposedly vlogging his life and absolutely being a shameful narcissistic liar and making crap up. You will win until we'll have to pay your attorney fees. It says, yeah, well, when we go for that one, we'll see. We'll see what, he's got. I think he probably thinks it's a joke. It's not, Tim. It's actually not a joke. Yeah, it's going to be glorious when he's exposed. Yeah, it is. My attorney did say that she hoped that he doesn't have too much in his background. And I did, like I said, I mentioned his PPP and EIDL loans. So there are attorneys that handle this that I'm sure that we can let them know about from my attorney, especially if you hit the likes and you subscribe and you donate to my legal fund, because it's through this community and the buy me a coffees and people becoming members and all the money that I make from all of my content, which is why I'm just drinking out the content this month. So I apologize, guys. I'm working more hours and doing more than I could even imagine as far as other stuff involved with, obviously, my nurse practitioner training, the fact that I work 40 hours a week with a special needs child and so forth, and taking on this bloody narcissistic bully. He's gone after multiple channels. I'm a girl and he hates it. Yeah, that would be nice too. And we're going to look into all this. So you better hope you got a clean, squeaky background, Tim.
One more cup before I go. Let me have my pleasures.
And it's no joke. I'm looking
forward. The oil's hot.
Mess with the wrong person, Tim.
Man, that's the best cup of coffee I've ever drank in my life. That is good. I'm going to get pumped up now. All hopped up. Getting ready.
We got some pills out here. Okay. All right. Well, this is interesting. Because I don't see very many meds. Okay. What do I see? His CoQ10 and maybe a cholesterol medication. Hold on. I need to go back, guys. This was telling. Did not know this was coming up. I don't watch Tim that closely. Let me see. Okay, let's see this.
That's the best cup of coffee I've ever drank in my life.
Okay, let's see what he's got over here.
That is good. I'm going to get pumped up now. All hopped up.
Tim says, okay. All right. I got 2 containers here. This does not look like a man on a 1576 calcium score. Good. Looks like he's got his little cholesterol medication over here and a CoQ10 that somebody recommended in his chat to take. Where's your aspirin, Tim? Anybody with that type of, where are your blood pressure medications? Where are they probably want to have you, well, they definitely would at least want to put you on a blood thinner, because they would be scared the shit that you'd be throwing a stroke with that narrow of an artery. And I don't see any medications like a Plavix or a dang Xarelto or a Eliquis or an aspirin or any type of blood. That's why I think this is BS. Absolute BS. No, test strip bottle. No, he's probably got, this is whatever his cholesterol medication is. And this is a CoQ10 that somebody recommended that he take for heart problems. But this is not anybody who's got heart disease, okay? And Tim supposedly has got, needs to get rotor-rooted because he's so diseased, wouldn't be taking this few medications. Okay? Yeah, that is a big ball of lotion by the sink. Yeah, we know what that's for, passive. So that's what I'm saying. This is bullshit. Bullshit. pH readings. Oh, this is definitely I reckon this is pharmaceutical. This is I recognize this bottle from it's like CVS or something. I recognize them because I've given out lots of home meds as a home health nurse. So this I do recognize. This is a pharmacy. I want to say it's CVS or one of these has that on the side. That's part of the labels for the pharmacy. So I think it says CVS on top. Yeah, that is. Yeah, probably has hypertension. Well, Beth, I don't think so because I don't see any meds for it. He's not even on 10 milligrams of lisinopril over here. There's no aspirin. Where's your 81 milligram of aspirin? Everyone knows. It's like classic. Anyone at 66, probably on 81 milligrams of aspirin. No baby aspirin. 0 baby aspirin over there. Don't know anybody. I read the CSA is not 100% accurate. Well, no, you actually have to have a coronary catheterization to get totally accurate. But at least it gives you an idea that something is going on. The only way is to go directly into the arteries and then shoot the dye in and measure it under radiology, under an actual catheterization. So we'll see if Tim gets a cath, shall we? If he talks about a stress test and shit, with that score, they wouldn't even worry about it. They would be straight to the cath because they need to find out exactly, So I say, this med? No. BS. It's BS, guys. I'm telling you. I have dealt with more medications over the course of my career than you can imagine, especially cardiac meds. This is not a cardiac profile at all. This is bullshit.
Getting ready.
Bullshit.
Grabbing some pills. I'm taking some laundry. I'm going to use Miss Bev's laundry. My new shirt's in there. What I just got, I'd like to wear it again. And made my bed. I'm going to show JJ my new 1911 holster. Came with a belt, holster, and mag pouches.
Oh, God.
It's going to fit me very well. Here's some overnight stuff, socks and underwear and jammies, some shirts. This is going to be a return right here. Returning this.
Of course. Oh, hold on a minute, guys. Because when Tim scans around, we'll see how filthy his place really is for Mr. I make the bed every day. You make the bed every day because you don't fucking sleep in it. Pardon my French. Sorry. Pardon my French, guys. Sorry, I came from a rough town in England. I came from Portsmouth. And I'm just so irritated with his lies and manipulation. I apologize for the bad language. It's Saturday night. It's late night. But his floor is extremely messy. I'm usually very polite. His floor is very messy. It's totally a lie. It's got what guy says, jammies? Well, Tim, of course, because he's, 66 going on 16. I always act shocked when he has a medical issue. He just, because he doesn't have half of them. Half of them are lies, in my estimation. This cardiac thing, those are not the meds of somebody who's supposedly, he wouldn't be out doing this and playing golf, okay? They would have scared the heck out of him. He would be so close to like an event because he would be so blocked. I mean, that's extremely excessive. I mean, the top is like 2,000 and horrible is over 400. And Tim is saying he is almost, 4 times the worst score. And then he's off to go play golf, and he has like some CoQ10 and a 20 milligram of Lipitor. Just, I'll let you know. My professional experience says this man is absolutely this is all lies.
JJ made this for me. He said he can make another one for me if I bring a shirt up. Well, this shirt I forgot to return with the other ones the other day. I don't like it. I don't want it.
But I have problems. Yes, he does have face, Beth.
I'm going to crush it. There's some shorts. And then I have in the dirty clothes, my new Wrangler shorts like I'm wearing right now.
Oh, there we go.
With all the pockets. These are my new.
Hold on. Did we miss this dirty floor? I'm not shouting at you, Beth. Oh, we did. Look at that. Look. Hold on. We're going to pan around. But just check out how messy Tim's floor is. No, I'm just irritated with Tim because he's such a bad liar, And I love the fact that Tim tells on himself all the time. That's what's so great about these liars. Okay? Tim tells on himself all the time. Tim constantly tells on himself. And he just told on himself that he's not got the cardiac, quite the issues that he claims to be having. Remember, he reads stuff in his comment section, so he talks to a lot of older people that he's befriended. So just, Tim's a con artist, in my opinion, allegedly, for attorney purposes.
Sports. And then I have In the Dirty Clothes.
What's that? Look at this. Mr. I make my bed. Look at this floor over here. At least I have a basket. I mean, jeez. Yeah, you can't believe a word he says. Absolutely. And this is a man who just held up all the stuff he's going to return. and asking for $165 on his hookahs. Ed North Carolina says, we know Tim is lying. His 1575 CAC is like his 111,416 beautiful souls. Exactly. Sits right there with the Tim math. And, the fact that, remember, it also sits there with the fact that Tim saved up for his retirement and worked hard all his life. And everything that he bought was because he worked so hard and he didn't get free money from the government. No. Poop tissue on the floor. Oh, even worse. It's a floor trove. Yeah. That's the dirty pile, I guess. I mean, what the heck is going on here for a minimalist? That's a huge corner of crud over there, Tim. T-Bucket's panties? Ooh, that's saucy. Look at this. He's always got that one basket with the folded laundry that comes, I guess, when he shows up as a guest and expects some poor man's wife. I promise you, if I had somebody if I were married, which I am thankfully not anymore, and had their friend show up with their dirty ass skivvies and expect for me to wash them, I would ask them to leave my property, and that would be the end of that. How dare you?
New Wrangler shorts like I'm wearing right now.
Look at that.
These are my
new mess.
Go to hell shorts.
Look at all the mess and the shoes. This is a man who's got his hookahs on sale for $165 is what he paid for them. On Facebook. Tim, you either lost your receipt or you went past the 90 days to return them. I'm sure they have you marked as a serial returner. A friend is having a housewarming party. You can show up with your laundry and a beer. I think absolutely. I mean, that's just what friendships are for, aren't they? That's just what you want as a woman. Is that your husband's scam artist friend shows up, wanting to, make themselves comfortable in your theater room, spread the mansplain out there, put their paws in your juju beads. Remember, he pawed his way around the kitchen and all right.
Let's get back in here. Hey, that's good coffee. Wow, that's good.
Lying about it.
I charged this up last night.
Why don't you just say fibbing it, Tim, instead of crushing it? Because everything you do is a fib, in my professional opinion, allegedly. I just promise you. I mean, he doesn't look great, but this looks like a man who just put one on the night, tore it up the night before Miss Tammy left town. That's why his videos aren't getting out like they used to, because Tim is back in Florida with Tammy and probably hitting the sauce a little bit more frequently. And he's got to give excuses as to why he looks rough as houses all the time. He looks rough. Tim has aged in the last couple of years like anything. But this looks more, bags. I mean, that could be holding salt from all the way he eats and stuff,
Right.
Alcohol bag.
Turn off the hot water here. Got those on. And what else is happening? Apparently quite a bit in the news. Donald Trump.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, we're going to kind of skip over Tim's political talk just because this isn't a political channel. All right, let's hear what he's talking about.
Porridge.
Oh.
This porridge will stick to your ribs. I got to admit, adding the blueberries and the walnuts. Pretty good eating. And I can have eggs and sourdough toast or eggs and how about this bread?
What are you talking about? You said you were on the Mediterranean style diet. If you had a calcium score of 1575, you would not be talking about eggs. Promise you. You'd be on like steamed fish all the time and vegetables. Or not even that. You'd be on the Ornish diet, which is really strict. It's like full vegan. I've been a vegan, and it's a vegan that I would even find hard to do. I mean, it's like literally, I'm saving my life. Tim is not giving me, I'm trying to really save my life vibes. You would not be trying to go out of town. Unless it's just a last hurrah. You would be a lot more scared.
Where you at? I know I can get that day's bread too. This is 15 grain, whole wheat, whole grains. I got a piece of toast right now with an egg, if I want. Like a slice a day. I got some delicious red seedless grapes, man. They're good. These are big and they're seedless and really good. Good snacks.
Right.
I'm going to be taking
these
gorgeous peppers. I'm going to cut them up and maybe just take the seeds out now and just eat them like apples for snacks.
Looks like he got that from all that stuff out of Miss Tammy's fridge. Because she was leaving town. So he just took the fridge food out from the apartment and moved it over to the RV. Not that I think Tammy eats healthy like that either. You know? Tim, whatever.
It's a whole new Tim. Went to the gym last night. Had a great workout.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you can't film inside the gyms because they're sick and tired of the fitfluencers and all the people that do the nonsense. And, you know, people want their privacy. And I think that's true. But we don't even see like Planet Fitness behind you in the background. You don't look like you ever look sweaty enough, Tim. And you don't look like a man who's been hitting the gym. Just saying, okay? Those bags under the eyes, that does not look like you're hitting the gym. You're hitting something, but it's not the gym, sir, in my opinion.
My weight, 206.4. 206.4, write it down.
Yes.
Looking to go down to 195. That will be significantly different.
That's true.
Yeah, that'll be good. 195 will also be a miracle. I can't tell you. Last time I was sub 200.
I like those like Norwegian like seed type crackers that they have at Trader Joe's. Those things are good. But you gotta make sure you definitely floss because the little seeds and stuff. But they're tasty. If you kind of want that bready thing, but in a healthy way. And they're not expensive. They're by the crackers. They're good.
It's been a while. Let's get some more of that coffee going.
Unwashed. Absolutely.
I'm excited to go back up there to the villages. I hit it up on the way back from the cross-country trip.
Right.
And
right. Tim's just using the facilities. Right. With all that meat, he probably don't want to block up the toilet there. So it's probably worth it for $10 a month to go to Planet Fitness and knock up their toilets in the morning. Oh. Or get the shower because it's less water bubble usage. Tim.
They didn't want me to come home. I had to make it clear. I'm going to stay a couple nights. But they love having me up there. I got my own room. Remember my room up there? Yeah. Having sheets cleaned up and that bed made, that bathroom all made up like a hotel room with the soaps and the towels and everything I need. And I'll do something for them too. Won't be no steak dinner though. JJ, he'll be a videographer. He's a great videographer. It really helps.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go. They always like to use their friends, the narcissist. What can I get? Oh, I can get JJ to do what I need for me to grow my channel because I'm the big YouTube star. I'm the special person. I'm the unique one. I'm the one who everybody copies me.
When someone can video you on certain things. I'm hooked on watching is Trump's granddaughter. The little golfer, cute little thing. She's, gets over 1 million subscribers.
Now you sound like a pervert. She is too young for you to be describing in that manner. We skip along that perverted talk. Don't talk about Tim. It doesn't sound cute from you, Tim. It just sounds like you're just a dirty old man, in my opinion.
We're showing on the screen some Bible verses and stuff. But there's a huge difference between dials and gauges.
I love Triscuit. That's one
Unless
of my
you're going to do one like a New
favorite
Bonanza or something like that. They've got a very computer-looking instrumentation and all the colors and the maps, like looking at your infotainment center on your car. But this jet, although it was small, 4-seater, the front of it was,
Johnny boy.
There's no yoke. He had a little thing over here that he used, but mostly it was just something down here in dials. And then while they were in the air.
Okay, lie. What is he telling? It's a lie because he coughed. But I tell you, it's his tick. Listen out for it, people. Every liar has a tick that comes along with the lie. Tim's is coughing. That's why he coughs so much. He's full of lies, in my opinion. So and Darling has done some great videos on that. But I'm telling you, my assertion about his cardiac medications and this being an all lie is as good as any of that. Promise you, got a lot of experience. And I don't lie. You can actually find my license online. And I don't lie because I've got the letter to the attorney here, but this is a members only thing. All right, keep going, Tim.
He wasn't doing anything. It was some autopilot, of course. Just amazing. The skill, the talent. And of course, they all had on, I think he had a buddy and his girlfriend and then his girlfriend. So it was 2 girls and 2 guys. And they all had those headphones on. They had that writing on there. It was a top name brand, like Bose or something like that. It was all like amazing. But
there we go.
They got to do that talk. Like it's another language with the.
There we go. We got the nose sniffle, the cough right in there. It's just, Tim loves an elaborate story. They always do. The laughing that Johnny said. It's all of that. That's just my opinion. We don't treat a diagnose here. And if you do like this stream, make sure you hit the likes. Helps me out a lot. Helps me with my fund, my legal fund. Monies that I raise from this channel are helping me ensure that Sarasota Tim isn't a narcissistic bully to other smaller content creators and even larger content creators.
Towers. They say something and you repeat it exactly, and they use alpha and all that kind of stuff. And it's very, they track you from one breadcrumb dot to the next. That's good coffee. I'm getting hopped up. Anyway, truly, blessed young people to have the money. I guess if you have the money and you do the training and you meet the age requirement for private flying, you can do it.
Well, Tim, we know you didn't do anything for your children. All right, Tim has become really boring. Okay, let's get over to Miss Vicky because Miss Vicky had some questions about Sarasota Tim and why wasn't he doing certain things. So I thought that we would just catch up with this at the end here and answer some of these questions that, yeah, he is gross when he was eating. That was pretty nasty. I at that point, I just, I said, you know what? He's not even talking about anything. And who knows? Doesn't really matter. But Miss Vicky had some questions. And I think I may have some answers. So I'm going to put on Miss Vicky and let's hear her ask these questions about Tim's reluctance for certain things. Or why does he do certain things?
You know, he's over in Sarasota, Bradenton, went to Nathan Bendover Park. And I loved it when he said it's just, you know, dirty looking, brown looking grass. I think that's what he said. And then the water was brown. You know, it was not, you know, anything fabulous. Like, it's a park, like Tim makes it like to be. And I'm sure there are times that probably, you know, once the grass comes out good, and, you know, it probably is a nice, very pretty area. But I mean, he just makes out like everything is the best. And see, that was one of the first things that Tim irritated me about was that.
Well, that's because Miss Vicky and I, you love me vibe. Well, thank you, Johnny. Bunch of power lines too. Yeah, there's a lot of power lines. That's definitely a southern eastern coast thing because we have a lot of power lines in Virginia Beach too. I promise you, we just lost a lot of trees, sadly, due to some power lines. So, anyway, she wants to know why does Tim always say everything is the best of the best? Because that's how how narcissists roll, Miss Vicky. Part of what they talk about is everything is the best of the best. They can't have anything unless it is the best. It's just, and I found something actually. It was somewhere over here that they always talk about their work is the most important. But oh, here it is right here. Okay. Sorry, I found it. Okay. This is the DSM-5. This is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, 2022 with text revision. So it's the most recent copy. And this is what they say about narcissists. Okay, Miss Vicky. I do not treat or diagnose, Mr. Tim. Their own self-esteem is enhanced, i.e. mirrored, by the idealized value that they assign to those with whom they associate. They are likely to insist on having only the top person, doctor, lawyer, hairdresser, instructor, or being affiliated with the best institutions, but may devalue the credentials of those who disappoint them. So remember, when the doctor, Tim felt didn't do his eye correctly, Tim was very upset by that. Very upset. But this is why. It's the bragging. It's the best. Everything's the best. And that's very indicative, Miss Vicky, of somebody who's a narcissist. So you're just being irritated by a narcissist, okay? And Tim is one of the most grandiose that I think I have ever seen. Other than, that's a lie. I've seen worse. Well, I don't know. Tim's pretty up there.
That he always acted like everything was better than anybody else. You know, at that time, it was the 4Runner. The 4Runner was the best vehicle ever. You know, nothing compared to it. And the one he had was just so much better than anybody else's. And, you know, now it's with the Honda or the truck. So Tim is either running from Dan because he says he's going to the Villages, or Tammy's gone somewhere. I feel like he Tim don't like to stay in town, I don't think, when Tammy goes to see the grandkids.
Well, Tim, I think, has some potential issues around codependency. He needs to have, people around. Tim has to have people around. Tim can't be alone. It's very hard for him. We saw that when he was traveling and doing things alone. When he was alone, having to come back from Laughlin this past time, and he was like trying to get back desperately because he was alone. The time before, he was with Miss Tammy, and he was like staying in all these hotels from Hilton Tom and all sorts of stuff. Last night, he was like rushing back. Tim does not to handle being alone, because then there's nobody to feed his narcissism and give him the admiration and all the things that he so needs and desires, which is interesting with Miss Tammy, because I wonder what she does to something. And I think for her, it's something about the money. She's given him stuff along the way, trips and cruises and stuff. So some gain in there for Tim.
For whatever reason. So poor Timmy. I would hate to be that afraid. I don't know why he doesn't want to meet Dan. Dan's never said anything really mean about him. So I don't, if Dan wants to meet him, I don't understand why he won't meet him. Just, just shake his hand or, pat each other on the back.
Because Tim doesn't think that Dan's really, because then Tim would have to reveal who he really is. Maybe with JJ, Tim continues to have these personas, or, JJ, from what I had seen, had businesses that have been online for some time, like a number of decades. And so JJ has been, using the internet and been using the web in order to sell products, and I seemingly got very early into doing that. And I think that's potentially where I guess some of his money is made. I have really no idea. I don't think we've ever heard what really JJ's work history is. The only thing I've ever found linked to he and his wife was that Maltese dog product site that they have their own products. And maybe at some point they made very good money from offering those products before things opened up with Amazon, more other things. Maybe at the time they did have a niche and they maybe made good money and they got investments. Who knows? But obviously they've done fairly well financially. And we've never really heard what JJ does for work. But Tim isn't going to want to meet Dan. Dan isn't going to stroke Tim's ego enough. Because remember, and do things that are going to induce Tim to want to meet Dan. Tim can't be, you have to be a character.
You don't have to have a big conversation together. But anyway, Tim's afraid. Tim made the statement in that last video that I watched, all the way through. I hadn't watched
I think it's very hard to find somebody in a town, even if you think you know where they're going to be. That would be a stroke of luck on Dan's part, and I think that Tim would assume that Dan's just a hater. So, but again, it's Tim's a narcissist. Dan isn't going to give Tim anything that he wants, so there's no reason to meet Dan.
The one about him going to the villages all the way through. This road's rough. Sorry, they took it up they're going to pave it. Anyway, Tim, he talks like he says he don't want to meet other YouTubers. Why would he not want to meet somebody like Cletus McFarland that's down there? Cletus has got 4 million subscribers. I'm sure Cletus could get him a few more.
Because Tim is unique and special, Miss Vicky. Tim is the one that has to be recognized as the better one. why would he want to meet somebody who's got 4 million subs? Tim would feel very much, orange make you hot. What? Okay, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny got some interesting things going on. You might need to send. Yeah. Okay, Johnny. So I think that Tim would feel intimidated by somebody with a 4 million subscriber channel. And then Tim isn't the big YouTuber because Tim's only got 111,416 souls in his mind. And so in reality, he's only got 66. Tim wouldn't want to share the limelight with somebody. You know, like I said, I'm somebody who loves having guests on. I love having conversations. I find it fascinating. Tim is not somebody, unless he feels that he's going to really gain something from this person, there's no reason for him to meet them. And he's not going to be doing it that way.
I mean, I can't tell you if they'd last. Because, I mean, yeah, you can gain them, but sometimes they, decide that they're not for you, and then they leave. But I don't understand why he wouldn't want to like to meet somebody like Cletus, because I think Cletus would be fun to meet. And there's some other YouTubers around there that he could meet. I can't think of them right now, but I know there's one over in Port Charlotte or somewhere like that lives over there. That's also got a bunch of subscribers. He's another one of them daredevils or whatever.
See, there's a lot of channels that actually try to make suggestions for Tim, like Tim is really looking for people to help him with his channel. No, he's not. Okay, it's all for views and clicks. Okay, like this whole thing around his cardiac stuff. We'll keep an eye and see how much he's following up with his cardiologist. Let's see if he gets more medications. Let's see if an 81 milligram of aspirin suddenly shows up on the sink top over there. Now that I've called his shit out.
So I mean, I don't understand why he wouldn't want to meet those.
Because he's a narcissist.
If there was somebody here around that was famous and somebody like that, I don't want to meet him.
Tim doesn't want to meet great people. He's got to meet somebody who wants to be like JJ, building up Tim's channel. Tim would be intimidated. It's not somebody that they have a sense of entitlement. Tim would never want to do that. Just would never be part of who Tim is and who Tim is in his makeup as a personality. It's not Tim.
I'm not saying we have to do a collab, but I'd like to meet him. And I don't know that Cletus would actually do a collab with Tim, but you never know. You never know unless you ask, because I think Cletus is very down to earth. He's been where Tim's at, trying to gain an audience. So you never know. Anyway, that's about it. That's about all I got to say today. We'll talk about beauty for just a second.
All right. We're going to stop on there, guys. Thank you, Miss Vicky. Thank you for those questions about why is Tim not wanting to collaborate, meet. But JJ has had a channel and he has met people. But we always remember that even with Johnny Vegas, until Johnny was literally bribing Tim to meet him, Tim wanted nothing to do it. And it's funny, he hasn't really talked about, he talks about going west, but he hasn't really talked about Timmy, his friend Timmy, since for some time, because I think Timmy got fed up and didn't want to just comp Tim on everything. And we already know from Ted and Jolene, thanks to New York Dan's investigative work, that, they got kind of sick of Tim's BS too. So I think Tim is definitely one of these people who definitely can wear a welcome out with people. And I think he does that quite well. And like I said, I don't want to call him any of those. Who would want to meet this man? I don't know. That bagel shop got away, and supposedly he was going to have that deal with some guy that was coming out from California, and he was going to do all that stuff with the golf. I seriously doubt any of that stuff was true either. I have serious doubts around a lot of stuff that Tim says. The only things that I believe is that Tim shops a lot at Walmart and returns stuff all the time, because we see the tags, we see him do it. I believe that Tim just goes off to McDonald's. I believe that Tim is intimidated by people actually recognizing his problematic behaviors and calling him out. And because he's a fragile ego, he's very insecure at the end of the day. And that is the primary thing with people who are narcissists, is that at the end of the day, they are insecure. Tim is also very manic with it too. I mean, he's very manic. He's very insecure. And it shows in his treatment of other content creators like myself. Why would somebody want to meet somebody, Miss Vicky's so nice, but why would somebody want to meet Tim as a bully to other creators on YouTube? He's bullied me. He's bullied Olive Oil. He's bullied Darling. He's tried to, I believe, tried to dox Blind Views and his spouse. He has bullied, obviously, Zachary Michael, Buckeye Gordon. I mean, this is somebody who is not in reality a very ethical human being. And all of this affable, it was a character. Tim was very honest about the fact that he studied, this could all be lies from Tim too. Very hard to tell with Tim. That he supposedly did some Tony Robbins courses back in the day. And, he is very persistent and consistent, but he gives himself away. We saw that dirty floor, so he doesn't keep the camper that clean. He's just chucking stuff. I mean, minimalist. He's not a minimalist. And then those medications. That's what, just sealed the deal for me tonight, that he's exaggerating it, or it just didn't plain and simple happen. Those are kind of my thoughts at this point watching it. And I've obviously studied human nature. That's what I do for a living. It's all I read about it. I study it. I look behind it. And so I'm very interested to see, knowing his personality type, how he responds once these legal actions start. And they are going to start very soon, because obviously once the monies go in, and the attorneys already have a lot of the background of the case, so they're ready to go, So this is obviously going to start to then move quite quickly. And so I don't know if he's prepared for that. I don't know if he's aware. I guess I'm putting him on notice that it's happening. So you've got time. But regardless of whether that copyright strike removal was taken down, I still would be taking him to court. Or whatever I'm doing at the moment. I'd still be doing my legal actions, I should say. I shouldn't say taking him to court, because that's not what we're doing. Johnny, no, okay. I'm ignoring you now, Johnny. Okay, KG says that's how he described what type of woman he wants. Trump's grand Kai is 16. 16. Oh, please don't. Oh, that's inappropriate. That's very inappropriate for a man of Tim's age. David, hey, come on in. What do they call an adult sleepover at the Villages? Oh my gosh. I don't even want to know. Johnny says it's called a coma. I don't know. David. There's probably a dirty response to that joke. Or is that an open question? Anyway, guys, I did want to thank you. I've had you all for 2 hours now, which is kind of like, I feel is more than enough time to take from people this evening. And I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who has contributed to the fund. There has been some very generous and thoughtful contributions. I mean, excellent. Trying not to, like, obviously there's one's comp man donated like $200. Somebody whose name I'm keeping has been a very generous benefactor. Other people who are in the chats tonight have also been very generous benefactors. Other people I'm keeping on the DL, lots of people, because obviously, you know, people want to support the cause, but don't necessarily want the eyeballs on them from these people, because Tim can be their con artist, you know? So, you know, but I enjoy the engagement of a narcissistic bully like Tim. So he asked, I had no intent. I was going to do it, and I had no intention after everything kind of settled. And then when he hit me again in February, because he wasn't feeling good, I guess, and he got upset with people, he got mad at me again, and he hit my channel again. And that was the point where I said, okay, now this has become a point where he's not respecting kind of what is part of the YouTube culture, which is reaction and commentary. And so I think that in that respect, because he seems to have such little understanding about what this platform can do, and if you're putting your content out there, you're going to have people make commentary. Promise you, there's people that make commentary about the people that make commentary around Tim and just the surreal sort of YouTube world. I just ignore them. I don't care. But Tim feels, because he is a narcissist, his ego, the insecurity that he has, he feels it more than anybody else, and it hurts him more than anybody else, which is why he is so vindictive with his behaviors with it. Anyway, I don't want to labor the point, but if you did, I don't play. No, I do not play. Not the way that he'd like to play. I play golf, but I wouldn't play with Tim. What a waste of time. You're welcome, Gen X, and thank you. All right, guys. Like I said, if you haven't had a chance to hit the likes, do so. That's great. I appreciate you all for being here this evening. I might do somebody different coming up, just to do a different thing, and you may or may not come along, but just to not just me kind of doing Tim, so I don't look like I'm just harassing and haranguing this one man. Just to make my channel obviously seem more fair and balanced. And I also like to do more different content creators, but probably maybe I might circle to Girl World, but they can get really wild over there. So sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I want all the wildness. No, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate you moderating tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and stepping in like that. I appreciate that. Hey, Tater Hot Dish, come on in. You have a nice night, and we'll catch you guys on the next stream. And you never know which one where I'll be giving out memberships to the Good Life community. And if you want to do some support, you can join for the low price of $2.99 a month, and it helps support the work of my channel, where I call people out primarily if they're scamming people, especially with lies around health stuff. All right, guys.